Okay, hello everybody. We are now live. I'm going to send out my little message here. And there we go. All right. So in for another Wednesday, another time to just come into that connection with ourselves, regardless of what we're doing, regardless of where we're at. It's always good to take that time. Even if you only do this 5 minutes here and there, or stop even for just a minute between things or in the middle of something and you're just noticing you're going a little too fast, just take a nice deep breath, pause, connecting with yourself. So this is why we're here. And oh, Ilaria, good to see you. You're on the other side today. Um, so and do stop by in the chat, say hi if you're here. So let's get settled in and take a moment to just notice the environment that you're sitting in, wherever you are. It's this interesting thing where we have different levels here coming in together because we're all connected in this space, and yet we're each in our own environment, in our own setting. So take a moment to just take notice of the setting that you're in. Look at the objects around you and feel your body. Be aware of your body as you're looking around in your space. So it's sort of like more of kind of a soft focus on everything that you're looking at and feeling yourself and feeling yourself looking around. Hey, hi, Laura. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on here, so good to see you. And yeah, I can see that people are watching, but I don't know who's out there. And so you feel free to say hi in the chat. Just uh, just it's always nice to know who's there, but it's not necessary. And then feel yourself as you're looking at your environment. Just feel yourself coming back into yourself. And if you're sensitive to your energetic field or your energy, you will feel that pull, especially when you're pulled out too much, or we can be in our heads a lot, and so we can feel that just as we relax back into our being, just coming back in and then settling into our bodies. Maybe just paying attention to your spine, to your backside, and letting yourself sink more into yourself, even more into yourself that way. Yeah. Coming into the breath. And okay, I'm going to work on the grounding piece here because there's some people who are on here. Um, Lydia, hello, Lydia. Nice to see you. And so let's all take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and then release it out. Let yourself come down with your breath as you release out. And slowly come down your body. And Nancy, hello, Nancy. It's evening over where I am. Good afternoon to you, I guess, wherever you are. So, in the afternoon of your day, let's do that again. And then on the exhale, what you can do is just kind of let yourself slide all the way down to whatever, to your butt if you're sitting down. Your pelvic floor if you're sitting down. Florida. Okay, nice. So let's take a nice deep breath in, hold it at the top. Let's hold it, keep holding it, hold it a little bit longer if you can. Hold it, and then on the exhale, letting yourself just slide down and and keep sliding all the way down, your awareness all the way down to what you're sitting on. Yeah, and somebody's having a hard time. There's resistance to grounding. Um, Probably been it's easy. It's been easier for you to be more out of your body, more up in your body and out. That's been your safe place, and so coming into actually being in your body, it does not feel very comfortable, very safe. So that's basically an abuse pattern. Just do your best, just gently, yeah. So just having acknowledged that is just allowing that person, allowing everybody to just kind of like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, right now, right here, this is the space for you to allow yourself to go in more deeply. So that might bring up some emotions. I can feel that, and that's bringing up at least for one or two people here. And there's a sense of really longing, having longed for this, but not having felt safe enough to connect more deeply with oneself, and almost not knowing how. You know, when we run in fear and when we run, uh, always kind of running to try to get to a safe place, we kind of get into this, just that's all we know, you know. And so being able to stop and relax into ourselves and be present, it's kind of a forgotten state of being. So that's okay. Just allow yourself to slowly relax into your body more. Allow whatever comes up to come up and just notice it. Notice it, and then kind of come back to feeling your body. And sometimes you can say, oh, there's that piece. Oh, I'm feeling these emotions. I'm feeling this. I'm noticing that. And then notice any part of your physical body. And kind of, if you're noticing like the top, like the head, the neck, the shoulders, kind of let yourself drop down into maybe your hips, what you're sitting on, your legs. Like if you're depending on how you're sitting. And even kind of letting yourself go all the way down, move down your legs. So start with the hips. So let's do this together. Taking a deep breath in, holding it at the top for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then releasing and just kind of coming down with the breath, coming down into your body through the breath. So the hips and that whole pelvic girdle seat, and that bone structure. See if you can get a sense of your bones. You know, it really does form a seat. You know, it's kind of neat to look at, just the bone structure there. You know, feel those bones. We call them the sit bones, so that bottom part of that pelvic structure. Let yourself feel that, and whatever it's against. So there's several layers in there that you can pay attention to. There's the bone, and then on top of the bone, there's different tissue, you know, muscle and fat and skin, and there's a lot of nerve stuff, vessels in there too. But you can have a sense, a general sense of that. If you can't go into the details, that's fine. Then there's whatever material is against your skin, you know, and Whether it's your clothes or whether it's whatever it is you're sitting on, there's several layers there. So notice that, really kind of pay attention to how that feels and the two connecting. Is it a hard surface you're on? Is it a soft surface? How soft is it? How hard does it feel? Does it feel hard like wood? Does it feel hard like steel? Does it feel hard like stone? All of those have different qualities, vibrationally, energetically, and if you pay attention, you can really feel that difference. So let yourself connect in. Yeah, it's getting familiar with what is always what we're always connecting to, but never taking the time really, usually to really notice what you're sitting on, that texture. Is it a woven seat? Is it a cushion? Is it a hard seat? Is it the floor? Is it the carpet on the floor? Feel those details for yourself. Let's take a moment to really pay attention, notice those details. Yeah, and Lydia, I have the sense that you have a hard time breathing right now. It's like you're that there's a it's almost like you're pinned down at that lower sternum area. So we'll work on that for you. And feeling like totally unable to really catch your breath and even breathe. So yeah, and there's some other people that kind of reflects for other people here too. So that's okay. Just keep paying attention to what you're sitting on. Bring your awareness down into that. Ah. So part of what's happening here, so it's a little bit Lydia, but Lydia's kind of bringing this up for all of us. So there's a reflection there for all of us at some level. Uh, we get really used to, and I was having a conversation with somebody about this earlier. We really get used to having things be a certain way. And as much as we go through this piece of like, I don't want this, I want to change, I want, something different. We've created such a habit and such an identity around things being a certain way. And it's almost like this becoming the split personality because there's this other personality that's attached. It's like, well, I'm used to this. This is what I'm comfortable with, and it's like, oh, we're going to stay right here, even though there is that other part of us that's going, I want something better for myself. I want something. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel. I want to change. I want something better. Um, So that's kind of coming up. So breathe into that. If that resonates for you, breathe into that. I'll take a look at your message in a moment, Nancy, and just kind of focusing real clearly with that. So breathing into that. So Nancy, just I'm kind of just not have just scanning through. Bring your awareness down into your lower pelvic. So like even more, and just kind of breathe into that. Yeah. And focusing, so that's where we basically are, just that what we're sitting on. And we are slowly moving through this piece because it's one of these things you can go rip something out, and it's sort of like pulling one of those weeds, that a dandelion, and you go to pull it out and you've only got half the root. The other half is still left in there. So when there's a lot of this attachment to having been a certain way, and it's not necessarily conscious, there's just a part of us that's just it's so ingrained in our being that, this has always been the way. I've always been in a state of panic or in a state of running away or in a state of being out of my body. Um, and even as much as we're wanting to step out of it, that thing is kind of anchored in. And yeah, so that's getting interesting because on the other side of that is that, in connection to that, is that we have people in our lives who've gotten used to us being a certain way and having us behave a certain way. Uh, yeah, so just and Lydia, just kind of keep. So that's just coming to the surface. It just we can breathe, take a focus on your breath, come back and focus on your breath, feeling your breath and feeling what you're sitting on. So really good. So that connects right into to what I'm talking about. It's like we're, being in a having been a certain way for so long that we don't know how else to be. And even though as much as we search to be a different way, it's just like it's like you've got this layer around you that say, "Nope, this is how I am." Um, and that's kind of keeping you in place. Uh, so Nancy, there's a sense that part of what came up for you this morning was that you're starting to have this opening that's coming through, and it's making you aware of yourself more. So on one side, it's kind of this positive experience, but on the other side, it's kind of making you aware. It's like, oh wait, um, it's making you more aware of where you have been. Uh, that makes sense. So Lydia, part of the thing for you is that it connects up to this piece of let me phrase it this way for you. The question to ask yourself is like, how am I benefiting? Just kind of go with it. How have I been benefiting on feeling stuck and confused? What has that given me? And that's been comfortable, that's been safe. It sounds kind of contrary, but it's like when we're kind of in this way of being for a long time, and it feels really like what you're describing. It's like, well, you look at that, it's like, well, who would want that? But there's a way that you've been benefiting from that, and part of that feels like it goes back to uh, being really young and not wanting to become an adult, I guess is one way to put it. Um, and if you step out of that stuck and confused state, then you have to kind of start to maybe take responsibility or be responsible for yourself, be responsible for what you do. That's not quite the right word that I want to say, but there's a lot that starts coming up around that. Does that make sense for you, Lydia? And also what's coming up is that when you were a little girl, when you were looking around the people around you, you were saying, I don't want to be like that. And so that's there's a connection there, not wanting to grow up because you didn't really have the role models to say, "Oh, yeah, this is God, I like that. That's what I wanna be when I grow up," kind of thing. It was more role models. It's like, "I don't wanna be that. I don't wanna be that. I wanna be that." Does that make sense for you, Lydia? So everybody just keep focusing on your breath. Let's take another nice deep breath into here, and kind of reaching down to the core of the earth before you breathe in, really dropping down really far, and then pulling with the in breath, just feeling that energy, like you're pulling that energy and those frequencies in from the core of the earth into your body, into yourself, all the way to the top, and then just holding it for a little bit, and then releasing it out. And then coming back into, again, what you're sitting on. It's really just allow yourself to sit there. Yes, it sounds pretty accurate. Yeah, and I was seeing, as I was waiting for your answer, I was seeing it's just like this little child, pretty young, 2 to 4, somewhere in there, and, you're just this bright light, and everything around you is pretty dingy looking, and so, you know, that's not a very encouraging place, but there's that bright light of that child that's just glowing, so it's nice to see that. That's a good sign. So just breathe into that part of you. Let yourself connect back into that part of you. Yeah, and everybody can do that too also. Feel into that purity of your essence within, and let yourself just kind of feel into that, wherever it goes, just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to connect. Don't worry about where it is, how does it feel, how do I find it? Just let yourself, it's like, okay, I'm just going to go there right now, and just let yourself feel yourself there, and relax into that, being that pure essence. I have to take my sweater off because there's a lot of energy coming through now, to the point, and it kind of warms things up. Yeah, now we're kind of really going into that purity of essence of self. And just allow yourself to breathe into that, to feel that, to connect within. It's sort of like every breath, you're just breathing it in. And on the exhale, you're pushing away everything that is not that. It doesn't matter what it is that's not that. You're just letting it remove out. Yeah. And also, what's happening for how many people? Yeah, for at least 1 or 2 people, what's happening is that you're actually flipped around. Uh, so you've gotten into this place of having basically judgment on yourself. That's usually ties into religious programming. Um, and so there's this, yeah, Catholic comes up, um, just this programming that we learned through the religion of we're sinful. And so that creates this image of self being unpure and what's outside of us being pure. So we got to flip that around because that's mistruth, misnomer. It's an untruth. Getting to the core. And so reach in. Let's take another nice deep breath in again. And allow yourself to just come into that center of your being. Because at the core is the purity of existence, the purity of existence. That's what you are, the core of your being. And nothing can touch that. A lot of things can try to make you believe otherwise, but nothing can touch that. You may have forgotten that for yourself. But again, nothing can touch that. It's there. It's there for eternity. Yeah, very nice. So feeling into that purity that's at the core, having a sense of it, just allowing yourself to go there. That letting that come through that child. Letting that child in within us connect to that. Bringing those into more into that alignment. And when I say coming into the alignment, so it sounds like it's kind of contradictory to what I just said about it's, that core brilliance, purities within us. It's like, well, okay, well, if it's in us, then what's that alignment about? Because in our minds, in our beliefs, in our emotions, we've pulled ourselves out from that. There's a way we pull ourselves, even though it's still there. So we're distorted because we're kind of, there's that purity in this, and then we're also off to the side. So bringing everything back into one. And that is the safest place you can be. In that brilliance, the purity of your being. And it might feel like you're trying to gasp for air, almost like you're getting pulled underwater and you're just at the surface and you're gasping for air. So that's just kind of relax into it. Just allow yourself, your body to relax more into that alignment. And just being in that stillness. You might feel like you're kind of in this waterfall or this stream that's coming through you, washing through, and just allowing yourself to feel that flow of that stream coming through. Yeah, very nice. So allow yourself to just kind of sit there for a minute. There's a few things I want to say too with what's come up. So Lydia, part of the what's been happening for you is being stuck and confused because you've had that place. So we're talking past tense. We're going to move on for this piece, but to explain where you've been is these two things going on. It's like this supposed to be, which is what you were seeing when you were a little girl with all the adults around you, and this is how it really is. And so what I'd suggest for you to do is just start talking to that part of yourself, that little girl, and just say, you can be whatever you want to be. It's like, well, what do you want? And just play with that. Just allow, just for that moment that day, let's just allow yourself to pretend or, really go into it, but just to be that little girl and enjoying life. And, even with crayons or with a stuffed animal or with a doll, let her come out and express herself. Don't look at it for an end result. Just allow yourself to come into that moment and feel go into it in the moment. It's just for the moment, into the now, kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, and Nancy, I'm just coming back to just looking over what you wrote there, and just that sense of really having been in one place, and then there's part of you that just is starting to open up to even more, kind of, and so deeper awareness of yourself and what you're where you've been. So connecting back into your body. Uh, Nicely, and let's see, Laria. Yeah, Laria, you feel like you're in a pretty stuck place too. And it's stuck, maybe rigidified. I understand that. Yeah, yeah, good. It's nice. It's an interesting place to be because it's like, whoa, what is that? Yeah, place. So a lot of stuff that I was saying for other people, Ilaria, kind of applies to you, and just being in that place where I think you're at a breaking point, and you really have to get yourself to just move past that, kind of make that decision. It's like, I'm moving past this. Um, like Otherwise, you're just gonna end up staying there. Eventually, you'll break out of it, but you really are on that. You could really break out of that right now, but it just this taking this time to just say, okay, no, and end of story. We're gonna end this right now. Uh, get radical. Yes, it does. Yeah, good. Um, applies to me also. Yeah. So, Lydia, how does that feel with what's come up? Oh, it's Fleury V. Um, welcome. We're kind of coming to an end, but well, it's always nice to have people stop by. And we've been working on. Oh, maybe get my QR code while I'm up here. If you would like to donate, this is on the YouTube, Facebook side. There's a QR code for value donation on that side, and I think you know how to get there if you feel like it. That's Fleury V. Yes, we had a nice session of just really connecting it and kind of getting to that place of that brilliance. Let me get back to the chat. Yeah, Lydia, did what I say make sense about just really allowing yourself to connect with that inner child and allowing that expression to come through and letting yourself explore that. It feels like it's, you know, in this session, you've been able to really, she's been able, that part of you has really been able to kind of like, oh, get that acknowledgement that it needed to have and of being seen. So there's some excitement there, but also there, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Some excitement and some wanting to move forward, and there's a little bit of unsureness, and so don't worry about the feeling unsure. Just allow yourself to go in and play, and that's good for all of us, really, to connect into that part of us that is spontaneous. That's kind of that child part is spontaneous and having that curiosity and that wonder of life, you know, and going, oh my God, look at this. You know, like going to the beach and you, because I live at the beach, so it's gonna, but you know, and or looking at a flower and just like, oh my God, look at this. This is amazing, kind of thing. So that's good for all of us to do. Okay. Well, we're here every. It seems crucial this time. Yeah, good point. Yes, that's thanks for saying that because it's we need to reinforce that for ourselves. It doesn't matter what's going on out there, even if it's just for 1 minute to reinforce that for ourselves, to feed that part so it doesn't get just totally. Lydia, I think it could be a matter of not being allowed to be. Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. We're saying exactly the same thing. Somehow lost that sense of me. Absolutely. Not not getting the support you wanted, but so you're seeing it from what's coming in from outside of you, and what I was saying was actually coming from within you. So you, when you were a little girl, you were looking around, and you weren't consciously necessarily saying it that way. A lot of kids actually hear stories from people and is basically saying that, but looking at what's around you, saying, "I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want that." And then it's like, well, what do I grow into? What do I become? Um, so that not allowing yourself to be you because you're trying to fit into what's around you because it's like, well, they're supposed to show me how to be in life, but this doesn't make sense. And so that part of you that of not being allowed, it's like, well, I've got to fit into this, you know, so back to that stuck in confusion kind of thing. There's those two pieces, like it basically you chose survival kind of thing. And so it's like, okay, well, I got to get through this. So I'm going to just do what everybody else is doing, even though it doesn't feel really good. And I'll try to figure this out along the way. So yeah. So again, give yourself that time now. It's like, okay, well, you can be whatever you want to be. Allow yourself to express what you want to express. Uh, creative expression stuff is really fun for that. To start, and it's not that it's almost like each day asking yourself at beginning of the day, middle of your day, before the end of the day, when you still have time left in your day, so morning or noon or late afternoon, it's like, okay, now it's time for that deep part of me. What do I and feeling that little girl, feeling like a little girl, feeling like that little girl that just is radiant. And what do I want to do? Asking yourself that as that little girl, what do I want to do right now? And it could be just kind of dancing, it could be just drawing, it could be just whatever comes through. Allow yourself to. There's a lot of movement for you. I think moving your body would be really good because that helps to undo the pathways in the brain and create new pathways as you do that. So that's also another nice thing for you to do. Okay, this was a good session. Um, so thanks everybody for showing up, and even if it's a little late, it's always nice to have people stop by. So every Wednesday, we're here through the mayhem, right, Nancy? Through the mayhem. We're here because this part still lives in us. That purity still lives within us, no matter what's happening out in the world, because there's so much that is being taken down and so much that's changing. And as this gets taken down, it's not a pretty picture. So this Wednesday, this time is just one of those places. There's a lot of other places out there, but this is what for my space that I provide here for that purity and connecting to that purity, giving us that space and that reinforcement for, yeah, no, this is here, this is it. So very good. So thank you. Yeah. So one more thing, Lydia, is just go and do it. Step out of the mind about anything around this. Just come in, do it. Just allow yourself to have fun, to move. Yeah, and it's if you can start with the movement, and it doesn't have to be big movement, but even just you know feel yourself as a kid and move like a little kid. That will start, but don't get caught up in your head. Come into your body and get into that flow. Um, Kind of thing. Words are precious to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. That's very, very sweet comment. You said your words are precious to me. Thank you. So thank you all for coming here, for being here. It's always just a pleasure to share the space with whoever shows up. And each time whoever shows up really makes it fun and unique. Okay, there's S. Florivi. I have to. You're kind of calling attention there. Yeah, just radiating that brilliance in yourself. So connecting into that brilliance. Just breathe into that. I feel like you do that a bit. There's a lot of joy in you. All I would say with that is just to come in more deeply into that heart space, because it feels like some of that joy is a little bit too mental. So it feels like joy, and it looks and feels kind of positive, but I think you can even get it deeper and fuller, kind of thing. Eularia, that makes sense. And I have to say, S. Fleurivi, uh, That was for you. Thank you, Marianne. Oh, it's a great frequency session. Yay. You're good. I'm glad you came. So nice to see you again. It's been a while. So anyways, yeah, do stop on by. It's always nice. Whoever shows up, it feels nice. And it shifts every time, so it's always different. All right, everybody. So take care. Next Wednesday, well, I don't know when US changes time, but we'll be on time. Be at the same time, whatever time that is, wherever else. 7 p.m. Central European time. So, all right, take care, everybody. Good to see you. Have a good rest of